Hi, I'm Leslie Koo. Today we want to talk about Panama Canal. This canal is very important for shipments, for cargo flow for ships that want to go from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean, or from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Oceans. This canal does not allow, this canal allows them not to make a big round, travel all the way down to the tip of South America and then come back up. So the Panama Canal saved them a lot of time and also cost. But recently, the US government wants to take back the control or the management of this Panama Canal in terms of the port's operations. And what it means to China, because China ships and cargoes uses Panama Canal very, very often. So this is going to have an impact. Unfortunately, it's the negative side to China. I would think that with the rise of China and the US seeing China as a threat, Chinese ships, Chinese cargoes are likely to face a lot of tensions, unwanted tensions, a lot of pressure from the US when the cargoes of the ships use the Panama Canal from one side to the other side. So, what is the alternative? There is one alternative. There is one more options, and China has been working very hard and also quietly for many years. It involves Brazil and Peru. It's called the Brazil-Peru bi-oceanic railway. So basically, it's a railway that stretch from one end to the other end. And Peru has already agreed because it has recently approached China and Brazil to talk more about this railway. And in July, China and Brazil has signed the MOU to do a feasibility studies about this project. So let's now have a look, an overview of this railway. So as you can see, it basically stretched from Brazil, the Atlantic Ocean side, across the South American continent to Peru, and from there to the Pacific Ocean side. If you look at the graph, the picture, it is basically an alternative or another road, another path for China to use instead of going through the Panama Canal with respect of the China goods and trade flows. Let's look at the impact on different parties. Let's look at China first. This alternative path will reduce the risk of China cargoes that meet resistance, blockage, or pressures, difficulties, so on and so forth, from the US. And that also means it will reduce the cost of operations as well as the risk of delay. So basically, China can choose, if let's say during a time when the tensions between the US is on the rise, China can just use this railway for its goods from the Pacific Ocean through this railway out to the Atlantic Ocean and to Europe, to wherever is they're heading. And those goods that heading towards China, because of the rising tension, likely that they don't want to go through the Panama Canal, so they can use this railway from the Atlantic Ocean through cross the South America to Peru, and then from there out to China. So this is how should I say, is another options that will reduce the risk facing the China cargoes, especially when the tensions between US is on the rise, and the US try to do a lot of things to slow down China trades as well as the economic growth. Now let's look at the Peru and Brazil. What is it for them? If you look at it, actually this railway on a relative term is more important to Brazil, because at this moment the Brazil's goods like raw materials, crude oil, soybeans, iron ore, are likely to have to go through the Panama Canal and go to China. When this railway is completed, it will not have to go through there anymore. Anyway, going through Panama Canal is not free of charge. Everyone has to pay. So, by going through this railway, the Brazilian goods, cargoes, will go to Peru and then out to China. That will reduce the cost of transportation as well as the risk of delay. And for the Peru perspective, it's good because the Brazilian goods will go through Peru, and it benefits Peru in terms of the cargo flows, in terms of trade volumes. I would think that the medium to long-term impact is huge. Other than the benefits, the direct benefit that this bi-oceanic railway can bring, they can see what railways, highways, ports have done positively to the Chinese economy to make it superpower in the current days. They would want to have China to come in to help them build up their infrastructure. There's no doubt about it. So moving forward, we will see a lot and more Chinese investments, especially infrastructure, will happen in Peru and Brazil. The other countries, they can see. It's obvious. They can see that what benefits that being having a good relation with China, the benefits that they can have for them. So they will follow Brazil and Peru as well. They will try to improve the relation with China. And that will mean that as a whole, South America, in terms of foreign policy, will slowly, gradually, because the US is the neighbor, surely they don't want to anger the US, so they will gradually, slowly move towards China, to balance from the foreign policy perspective, to balance China and US. So, this is available given the economic profits, economic benefits, and the economic advancement, the growth that a good relation with China, China investments, China expertise in infrastructure that they can have. So in a nutshell, South America, unfortunate to the US, will gradually move closer and closer to China. On BRICS, community will get bigger and bigger. But Brazil is already in it, the B. And I would think that more and more South American countries will get more and more involved in BRICS as a way to get closer to China. Okay, that's all for this video. See you in the next one.